I'm Tracksuit Dusty, and this is 5-Minute Learnings. If you give me 5 minutes of your time, I will show you how to generate AI art. Yes, this is the same AI art that you're seeing all over the internet, and you're going to be generating it using the same tool that everybody else is using. With the exception, you're going to actually be able to have control of it and introduce your own unique and distinct artistic thumbprint within it. I became fascinated with AI art after seeing a TikTok post about it. It's the first time I really think I actually have gotten lost in a piece of art. We're going to be leveraging a tool that is used widely across the AI art community. The reason everybody is using this project is because this brilliant lady named Catherine Crowson, I don't know why that's so hard for me to say, but I think it's because of my South Dakota accent. This brilliant lady created a project, a Google Colab project that leverages two different neural networks,
the neural net processor, a learning computer,
to create AI art. And she made it into basically a push button process. I have made a copy of Catherine's Colab sheet, and I've put a link to it in the description of this video down below. Navigate to that Colab sheet now. I'll wait. Done waiting, or you can do it and I'll talk while you go. She made this Google Colab project, which basically breaks down the art generation process into a series of steps. For those of you that don't know what Google Colabs is, it's actually a really cool service or tool, depending on your definition, provided by Google that allows people free access to their fastest GPUs. So we go to this Google Colab sheet and let's take a look at what we have within it. What you see is basically like a series of squares. Each of these squares are called a cell. These cells can hold type of markup that can give instructions, hyperlinks, any kind of detail about the project, and/or it can hold Python code. Python can be written in the browser, but it's actually being saved to the GPU where it's being executed. Let's go ahead and take a look at the steps and kind of move through what we're going to do here. The first cell is just an overview of the project, and it's an example of how the text markup is being used. The next section of cells essentially deal with downloading everything that we're going to need to actually generate the art. So right below it, you see a play button, and it says 5 hidden cells. When you expand it, you can see in detail what each of those 5 cells do. You can just go through and run each of these steps by hitting this play button or shift enter. So most people, when they're using it, they're just hitting play. In our case, we're going to go through them one by one to get a better idea of what's happening. Ultimately, this first line here, you can ignore, you can skip it. I'm going to go ahead and run it for you just to show you what it does. It gives you information about the GPU for verification purposes when switching between GPUs. Download the required Python packages. We're not just downloading Python packages. We are downloading the 2 neural networks, the AIs essentially. The first neural network translates your natural language, as they say, into a visual element. So the second neural network, it is what synthesizes the art. It can take in an image, break it down into sample points to understand what that image is, and using sample points gathered from a library of images that it's been modeled against will generate and synthesize new images. For example, if I provided a picture of a squirrel from scratch, it will synthesize, generate, create an image of a squirrel that doesn't exist on this God Green's earth because it's been generated by an AI. And then additionally, we have other Python libraries in support of the Python code that was created by Catherine. And then we choose the type of model. This section relates back to the neural network that actually processes and synthesizes images. Each of these models represent a library of photos that the neural network has been trained against to create unique data points. See the one that says face? This is the best example to use. This is a repository solely of faces. The AI is trained against this to create faces. So if you start doing art around portraits, maybe like if you did art trying to synthesize Rembrandt, that would be a good one to use. These, I believe, are the 2 most popular. The next section is download the libraries for the neural network. This is a little bit of a misnomer because it's a combination of downloading the library model data as well as basically bringing everything together so we can actually execute the art generator. and using some custom code that Catherine created to actually create a new Python library that's going to be used in the art generator. We're now in the art generation. So we have a series of art parameters. We have height and width, that's pretty obvious. But what I want to talk about is text, this initial image, and the objective image. This is how you really control what's being generated. These three fields are what you're going to be able to use to control the AI. And now that you have an understanding how two neural networks are working together to synthesize and create art, how your wording choice, what model you select, will impact the final outcome. So I did a quick glance of the code. How I understand it is, if you have a clear vision of what you want your art to look like, you can use descriptive words such as oil painting or Rembrandt or Salvador Dali. The neural network around language takes an idea of what that might be and provides an image. Then from that image, we begin modeling, synthesizing, and creating a new image and start to continuously do a feedback loop. So when we are running the Python, that is occurring on the GPU. So this initial image is a starting point. If you have a piece of art that you want to use as a base foundation for the art that you're going to create, you would upload it just like you do in any kind of file system. You can right-click, get the link, and put it in here so it references the library. How these are impacted kind of really depends on how the data was modeled. So let's say that I want to do the South Dakota Dreamscape by Dali. This would only work the way I think it would work, or if the neural network had been modeled and trained against portraits of Salvador Dali. So then you start generating the art, and it goes through this iteration process, and you can kind of see, for example, in mine, I did South Dakota landscape. Really iconic images of South Dakota that I can recognize. These are badlands, these are prairies, like the big sky. There's these fundamental aspects of everything I put in there that are there, but it's almost like it doesn't know what to do with it, right? So I would like to give it more instructions, maybe even give it like a piece of art to work with. But if you would like, you could actually take all those frames and put them together in the form of a video. How do you do this, you may ask? Well, like the rest of the project, it's all push button. Just go down to this optional make a video cell and click play. There is one caveat I would say. In the code here, just click show code. You'll see initial frame and a last frame. You can leave the default as I, which will just give you the last frame. However, you may want a shorter video and can choose any frame between 0 and the final frame to kind of control the size of the video you're creating. So once you choose your frame, hit play and let it run. Now that the video is completed, you actually have the option to download the video. Just go down here and press and click play, and you have your video. This video now is actually downloaded to your computer, and you can post it to social media, TikTok, Instagram, or MySpace, whatever suits your needs. If you have more questions about Google Colabs or you want to go deeper into it, I think I'm going to make a separate video explaining how it works, as well as additional videos on the value of creating art with this, and additional videos on how to fine-tune and hone in the AI art generation process. This video is simply designed to get you up, get you running, and get you creating some amazing, beautiful, as they say, AI art. Subscribe, like, comment, follow, and if you would like, send my grandma $5 because I forgot her birthday.